Go woke, go broke. Yes, the socialist newspaper, The Guardian, are currently dealing with a massive backlash on what they've been campaigning for all these years, wokeism. Well, they've had to officially issue an apology. Now, this is absolutely hilarious because The Guardian have been taking the moral high ground all these years, going around telling everybody to be woke, to basically cancel women, cancel white straight men, and say everybody should be rainbowy and everybody should be dark skinned and all that nonsense. It's kind of backfired on them because we just discovered. It's not a surprise. We already knew some of it, but they've officially discovered that the Guardian founders were massive slave owners. And they fought against the abolition of slavery. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So they've had to issue an apology saying the Guardian owner apologizes for the founders' links to transatlantic slavery. It's beautiful. The Scott Trust is now to invest in a decade-long program of restorative justice after academic research into newspapers' origins. Ooh, I mean, it wasn't really rocket science. You don't need to do academic research. You could just find out more about this man. Yes, John Edward Taylor, the first editor of The Guardian between 1821 and 1844. Founded the newspaper in 1821 in the Manchester Guardian, a local newspaper. Now, this man, obviously, the whole creation of the newspaper was a reaction to the Peterloo massacre. But this aside, all of them had massive links to not necessarily just the slave networks, but they fought against the abolition of it, which is hilarious because the Labour Party, the Guardian, all the other leftists are going around bringing down statues of people in the past who might have had some investment in companies that had links to slavery, but then when the time came, they fought to abolish slavery. They actually did it, yet it wasn't good enough for the woke tards, as I call them. They still brought them down. Are they going to bring down The Guardian now? Well, The Guardian have decided to fight back against this backlash. So they say, well, what can we do? Well, let's get involved with giving money to, in terms of donations to charities. The Scott Trust said they expected to invest more than £10 million, with millions dedicated specifically to descendant communities linked to The Guardian's 19th century founders. Oh, dear God. Okay, so the point of this is that obviously right now they are desperate. They've already been desperate. The Guardian have been losing a lot of money and subscribers and their readership. So on their website, if you go on The Guardian and read an article, every page they beg you to give them money. So now all the money that they've collected, they're now going to give it to someone else because they did a whoopsie. Now the interesting thing about this is that The Guardian and these founders, they've always been on the wrong side of history. For example, being pro-Confederates. Same thing with US Democrats and all the others. Watch this.
If you know your history, The Guardian actually supported the Confederate side in the US Civil War because of those cotton trade.
Okay, so they would have supporters of slavery then.
Well,
because
indirectly,
the Confederates,
yes,
were quite keen on slavery.
That was the big issue in the US Civil War.
Whoopsie, Guardian, whoopsie! You're not as woke as you wanted to be. Absolutely brilliant. It's the whole thing is the whole house of cards of the wokeists coming down as expected, and the left ends up eating itself as usual. Paul Staines from GETTR was on Jacob Rees-Mogg's show, and he said something interesting. Watch this.
Well, I think we should go by what they said other parties should do, and that all the profits should be surrendered. So if the whole of the paper was founded 9/11 by the proceeds of the slave trade, you know, they have £1 billion reserve, a capital reserve, which they got from the sale of Auto Express, which they used to own, and they had it domiciled in the Cayman Islands, if I recall correctly. I mean, very tax efficient. So
yeah, they're saying socialists who are so much against tax avoidance and tax evasions and everything else, not only they had links to slave trades, even right now, they love the tax efficiency. Absolute hypocrites. Yeah, this is the problem, because they are always the elite. And they pretend to be on the side of the vulnerable, the marginalized groups, the working classes. You don't care about any of them. You simply care about your own power-grabbing nonsense and greed. That's the reality. Now, let me know your thoughts on The Guardian, if you even read The Guardian these days. I have to, unfortunately, because of my job, so that you guys don't have to read it. And that's the sacrifice I'm willing to make. Thanks for watching. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.